stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just remember. Just remember. Just remember. Just remember.
Just 2 weeks remain, and when 2 weeks are put into perspective, the championship picture is the one where everyone keeps an eye on things. No penalties of note from last week means that the slate is clear. It's 85 to the good for number 78, and a Vincenzo Amico's title charge, which started at week 3 of the championship and is continuing on here, has just 2 more places to look at. This is the first of them, Road Atlanta, Brazelton, Georgia, and a track which, by all intents and purposes, is a roller coaster ride with us at ESPN. Welcome to the party and the conversation and everything else in between. My name's Jake Sperry. Joining alongside me, as per usual, is Sam Cooper-Bennett to bring all of the fun in the next few hours available. 4 races of 15 minutes. And, well, really here, a championship which can go a whole number of ways. Top 4 split by 146 points right now. Everything very much here, Sam, in the realms of possibility for those fantastic 4.
Yeah, the overall championship is very much up for grabs, but with only 8 races left in the championship, the team championship is pretty much sewn up now. Optical Blue have a gap between themselves and Optical Green of over 1,000 points, and the AM category, Charles Kellerman enjoying over a 100-point gap as well. So it's all up for grabs in the main championship. That's where all the action's going to be, and we're going to see a lot of fun racing here at Road Atlanta, I'm sure.
Fun racing is certainly on the horizon, and now what is going to be the question that they start to focus? Now what do you have in your back pocket? We are coming to the end of this practice, as we've just said, but let's talk AM category as well. Looks a little bit more secure than the Pro category championship, but it again depends on drop rounds and results. Charles Kellerman's got 245 points in the drop bank to deal with at this point in time. 133 points, the margin right now. For Charles Kellerman, it's very, very clear. Just keep it nice and calm, and racing should fall back into favour.
And nice and calm is what Charles Kellerman does best, so definitely in his wheelhouse with regards to that one. So all he's got to do, just keep it clean like he normally does, and he's got a AM category championship in his back pocket.
And it shows only 77 instant points over 36 starts. So there's the points. He averages 2.14 per race. Cleanest driver in the field. We, of course, have talked about Optical Blue, but you got to keep an eye out on 2 Optical Blue drivers, one of whom Roy Viveka, the consistent driver in the field, the other one Dan Bristow, who has done an incredible job of being very successful at finding some pace. A little bit of a throughput then for Alan Toon as qualifying gets itself started. 15 minutes to set a lap time. No escape rule in full effect. And first out on track is the 07 of Dan Hunt, who is in chase mode now with this championship, hoping that he can make a challenge in comparison to the likes of Vincenzo Amico out there. So you're looking at this as an opportunity, really, I think is the right way to say it. It's an opportunity to put your best foot forward and start off the night the way that you know you are capable of doing.
Yeah, and it's very crucial around here that you do get off to the best start of the night, because obviously the section that most of the cars have just been through right now, that first part is going to be absolutely imperative to get right, otherwise it will spit you out into those walls. Other parts of the track, the 2 double right-handers before you go into that long backstretch, going to be very important as well. Definitely a lot of overtaking opportunities as well, especially with that run down to the chicane.
Oh, I agree. 10A and 10B are probably going to be the places out on circuit to keep a constant eye on where it is all going to work. So keep that in the back of the mind as things continue. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, for my sound levels being a little bit too loud here this evening. That, of course, on me. But they'll start to gear up then for those first flying laps, and the first train about to do so. Let's go on board with Dan Hunt in the '07 Doff Reality Sim Racing Studio car. We're going along this dual pit front stretch. No need to use the left-hand side pits on this layout for the very fast and flowing turn number 1. Up the hill you rise and try and keep nice and narrow through this small kink left at 2, which leads immediately into the right of turn number 3. 4 immediately follows straight after. Then you've got quote-unquote the S's down the hill, snaking on through these corners, and then up the hill. Turn 5 is the next challenge here, that left. Go careful over the curb on the right-hand side. You can so easily run into troubles and spin the car around if you're not careful. Miniature straight moving towards 6 and 7, the two 90-degree rights. It's on camber through the first part and off camber through the second. So you get a nice hit of grip through the first corner, and then you realise you don't have any for the second part. Kink left here is turn 8. There'll be another kink to the right. That will mark turn number 9 out there on circuit. And then you've got the fabled overtaking opportunity, 10A and 10B. The chicane will be the prime place to get it done with the draft so strong in these Miatas as they charge through. You can see on this long straight how Peter Van Gool in his brand new Momo livery in a bit of, I would say, red-orange doing well. Through 10B, aggressive line by Dan Hunt, and then under the Fox Factory Bridge, down the hill and charging through the final corner here. Turn 12 out on circuit to finish the lap, and around you go. 1:36.3, a not bad start.
Yeah, very good start there for these guys, and I'll tell you what, Dan Bristow already on a charge with a 1:35.329. That man has been on an absolute tear lately, and it's already starting to reap its rewards here. He's closing in on that top, that battle at the top now.
Absolutely, 140 points back and being half a second clear of anybody else in qualifying. Amico can only go 5th fastest. Andy Maxwell looking really good, 4th fastest overall at this point in time. So take that and cash it, why don't you? But you talk about streaks when it comes to sim racing. Streaks are incredibly important, and the streak is over the last, I would say, 12 races for Dan Bristow. Get this then here, Sam, in terms of a stat. 10 podium finishes in the last 12 races.
Yeah, the man has just been absolutely on fire since, well, for most of the season, in fact. That's why he's started moving his way up the table. Obviously did not attend the meeting in the first round, which seems like a lifetime ago, and has now since then just been absolutely on it, just slowly but surely moving his way up the table. And then when the drop rounds came in last week, that's when he shot up the table and did even better. Had a great night, picking up, I believe it was 2 wins on his way to moving up to, I believe it's 4th in the table now.
Yep, 2 wins, 2 second places, and in terms of those last 12 results, 5 wins, 4 second places, and a 3rd. That is how quick Dan Bristow has been so far. Amico moves up to 4th, but only temporarily, because his teammate Anthony Larson has gone 3rd fastest, 35.891, 600th behind Peter Van Gool in the Momo machine out there. Still no Steve Hefford, still on an early break, it seems, in the series. But now you start to figure out, okay, this is going to be very much a case of get what you can. You can't win the championship tonight unless you're Vincenzo Amico, but my goodness, you absolutely here, Sam, can lose the championship if you're not careful.
Yeah, and the one driver that's going to be hunting him down all night long will be this man in the 07, Dan Hunt in the Doff Reality car. Had a terrible week last week. We'll be looking to put that one behind him this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, will agree. And on top of that, didn't really score too many points on top of that. That's why the gap opened out so aggressively to 85 points. Just that Dan Hunt struggled to score at a time where he absolutely needed it. And his drop rounds total 524 points as he takes a dive down into pit lane. And the key is going to be well, how much do drivers need to score in order to gain the points that are necessary out there? So how much have you got in terms of your best drop round or your worst round that you drop, or what is a guaranteed point score you can get on the book? So you look at someone, for example, like Dan Hunt. His second drop round is 268 points. In other words, he's guaranteed here tonight to score 268 points. You look at someone like, say, for example, Vincenzo Amico, he's got no drop round. So whatever he scores, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, and it was owing to, again, missing the first two meetings of the season, made his debut in the third round, and has been pretty much a fixture up there ever since he made his debut. He's only picked up 2 wins, though, since that debut. We'll be looking for a few more, I'm sure.
Very much could do. And would be important to pick up those victories. And Charles Kellyman as well will have to be quite alert to how many points that he scores right now. His best drop round is 245 points, and that's only so far in the racing that we've got going on. Bristow in control, and Miko has moved up to second. Charles Kellyman now third fastest. If you look at that back stretch, everyone is clamoring for a bit of draft right now, and it's proving that this is going to be a draft-centric circuit. Yeah,
as you saw, Kellyman just backing out there and just falling back in line right ahead of a returning Mick Barry, who's out on track tonight. We've got one of the optical blue cars facing the wrong way. I'm not sure who that was.
Sampson.
It was Martin Sampson. So Sampson having a bit of a mare there coming out of 10B.
Very easily happens. Jamie Ayres has just taken his toe. His work is all over then for qualifying, and he's 9th position only right now. So the Welshman with a lot of work to do in the race. A handful of drivers unable to set a time, but one driver we know definitely won't be setting a time in qualifying with about 6 minutes to go here, Sam. Pete Newman in the 118, and a driver who, by every single metric right now, will, in some way, shape, or form, be a factor in racing tonight.
No, unfortunately, probably won't be in race 1, as he's got to start at the very back of the grid. But the only thing that's working in his favour right now is that Alan Toon and Andy Littler have not been out on track yet. So he might not start at the back, but he'll definitely be back there anyway.
Yep, certainly will. Alan Toon's been having his internet issues over the course of this qualifying session. 3 disconnects and reconnect, which have not been the most useful. And Andy Littler is in the pits after a lap. So it looks like maybe something happened on an out lap for Andy, which could have put him completely out of the picture for qualifying overall, which will be good news for Pete Newman, because he will just ever so slightly there, Sam, jump up ahead over that due to the I-rating difference.
Yeah, and Newman will try and... we know he's going to make up a ton of spots as the race progresses, obviously through people retiring, and just basically with his outright pace itself. I mean, he's made a pretty big habit of just overtaking people left, right and centre as the race goes on.
Yeah, and that's a case of what more can you ask for in a session like this? Bristow, Amico, Kellyman, Van Gool, Larson, your top 5. Dan Hunt in 7th. Roy Vervaker pretty much out of it in 11th position right now. You're talking about title challenges and where your rivals are and how quick you need to be. Daniel Bristow's only got 1 worry. That's the 78 behind in 2nd position. Even then, 0.4 of a second quicker over the course of a lap. He has been absolutely mind-boggling with that pace.
Then it just set that, not long set that time as well. It did set a 135.01. That was his previous lap. That was not his best lap. His best lap, 135.009 compared to Amico's 135.412. Amico's got to find some pace here before this is over. Otherwise, he's going to be in a bit of trouble at the start of the race.
A lot of drivers will feel like they're in a little bit of trouble. There is a very hungry pack that wants to go and gain as much as they can, and we're down to just 3.25 minutes left in qualifying. They are allowed to finish any lap, of course, that they start, but the issue is, in terms of the racing here that they'll be getting on with, you can get things done, but you don't want to be wasting your time putting yourself in a position that compromises your race.
No, you don't. And again, it's all about how you attack this track as well. And if you attack it too hard, it'll affect you in a bad way. As Miko, there it is, just a small mistake there from himself. Just gets it all wrong on the exit of turn 2 and goes straight through the S's down the MotoGP part.
Yeah, and the club layout, as it's known here in iRacing, is not the place you want to go. Another lap chalked off for Amico means another lap that he can't improve and gain that place. So that's not going to do the job, and it will be down to last lap and focus then through the final stages. Into the pits comes Andy Maxwell. Will not be able to improve, it seems, on lap time there. But a lot of drivers will be focusing on who can I grab a tow from. Best place to be is behind Dan Bristow. Crucially, Dan Bristow's teammate who's getting the benefits of that being Martin Sampson.
Yeah, and that's where you need your teammates, especially down that backstretch right now. Sampson is going to try and use Bristow as a pick here as they come out of turn 5. This is probably not going to be the best place to get a tow, but like I said, it's a mini straight, so you can. Through 6 and 7, just got to set yourself up right there. Sampson now going to try and slot in behind Bristow and try and get a drafter, and right behind him is the 67 of Charles Kellyman, and he will not really have the best of the draft from his teammates ahead of him.
No, certainly won't. Unable to hold with, and so he's going to be on the fringes. Sampson going like Billy-O at this moment in time to try and find some time, get a driver in and amongst it. We're under a minute, so there'll be another lap to go for those drivers to circumnavigate the track and find that time as they head under the Fox Factory Bridge through 11 and 12 to end the lap outright. What's it going to be as they cross Bristow? A 36 flat. Sampson improves to a 35.732. That is good enough for the second row of the grid. 3 optical cars in the top 4.
Yeah, one of them being green, and that's Charles Kellyman, who didn't improve his time. I think he was on an outlap, so that probably why he didn't put a lap time down. But Kellyman really showing why he should be in pro next season.
Yep, certainly is. It's through this sort of pace that we've started to find down to the final few seconds then. Who will be the last one over the line? The answer will be Steve Cooley. Keep an eye. Cullinan will be the first to cross, and he's leading a train of Craig Jones, Mick Barry, those two going over towards the line, as is Andy Maxwell overall, who just doesn't get out in time for that outlap. Hansford running wide through the final corner, and Miko cannot improve on lap. Can Dan Hunt? 35.9, 2/10 gets him from 8th up to 3rd. Is it 2/10? It's not, it's minus 2/10. What a shame that is. Alan Toon couldn't put one down on the board. Dan Bristow getting a tow from his teammate Roy Viveka. So Bristow here started to make something happen, and maybe Martin Sampson with the double tow can get a little bit more out of it through the lefts and rights then of this final sector. 10A, 10B under the bridge here for turn 11, and then finally down the hill and sweeping. Very short run to the start finish line here at 12. For Dan Bristow, it is no improvement. For Martin Sampson, it is also no improvement then going through. So everybody is done in qualifying, and we can go to the grid, see how they will stack up for it. It will be Daniel Bristow on the pole position, 1:35.009. Set the time early, was not challenged throughout the majority of qualifying, with Vincenzo Amico second, and a further 3/10 clear of Martin Sampson, who starts this one in 3rd. We'll have Charles Kellyman alongside the AM category leader with Anthony Larson in 5th, Peter Van Gool in 6th position outright. Andy Maxwell goes from 7th with Dan Hunt in 8th. Jamie Ayers goes from 9th, and it will be Mark Lutz who rounds out the top 10 then in this field. Roy Viveka will go from 11th. Disappointing qualifying for him with Ralph Cullinan in 12th. Then it's Craig Jones and Mick Barry. Steve Cooley there in 15th and Steve Hansford in 16th position, leaving just 3 more drivers split by their I rating, which will be Pete Newman, Alan Toon, and Andy Littler making up the grid then for this one. Track temperatures as they went around pretty, I would say, optimal. 33 degrees is what you'd averagely expect middle of the day heat to feel like here. So, Sam, really an opportunity to say, well, okay, for some people that qualifying didn't quite work out, but for others, it's a golden ticket to shine.
Yeah, and as we take over to the race session, it's just changed to 28 degrees Celsius, so down 5 degrees from qualifying to race, so a bit of a change, but still hot enough out there. Still going to be very slick for those drivers especially on cold tyres.
Cold tyres are not what you want to be dealing with over a 15-minute race. They take a couple laps to warm up here in the MX-5s that are racing around. And question is, how do you focus? How do you put this into view and contemplate what you need? Amico's just got to keep it out of trouble between now and the end of the season. 8 finishes, you would feel, get the job done. So a few engine notes, trying to be revved up early to send a message. Come on, I'm ready. I want to go racing. And the final positions will be running towards the back end of the final corner. So that will also be a little bit difficult to deal with off of the start. But with such a short run, of course, to the start-finish line out to the final corner, does leave that little bit of movement over there. If you haven't had the chance already, you can like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content brought to you by us here at ESBN. Engine notes rise, though. This is race 41 of the season, and it starts right now. Quick start by Martin Sampson. Was it too quick? As he immediately has a bit of coverage by Vincenzo Amico, who can't stop him after a really, really good reaction time off of the line. Maybe too good, but as they go through turn number 1, it's a nice and clean start from pretty much everybody through at this stage. Exactly what we want to see as we go towards turns 2 and 3. Amico's covered his line off nicely. Ayers has made a pretty good start.
And at the back of the field, Pete Newman's already made up one spot. He's dispatched Steve Hansford almost immediately and is already on the back of Steve Cooley. So Newman already on the move here, but back at the front. Good start by Martin Sampson. Now just needs to keep on the back of Vincenzo Amico. He will try and see if he can force that number 78 into a mistake here. Not going to be easy though.
No, not easy at all, but this big, long drafting straight is going to be a place where chances are aplenty. If you can find a chance, wide goes Larson. That's going to push Van Gool around the outside then, and able to pick up a move, and the train will continue on as through will go Maxwell. Jamie Ayres is going to search, so is Dan Hunt here, who's going to try and go the other way to make a move, make it 3 wide. Why don't we on this run forward? Front 4 breaking clear, and Hunt contact with Larson down the straight. He's trying to give no quarter at all as they hit the brakes. A big lunge down the inside by Larson, held off nicely though as they battle for the race lead, Amico and Bristow.
And again more contact between Larson and Hunt as they're banging doors coming through the final corner. It's still side by side as they come down towards turn 1. Hunt is leaving absolutely nothing on the table in this first lap.
Can't afford to. He's so far down, he's dropped a position to Jamie Ayres. Of course, he's got to get that back at the bare minimum here as they run through 2 and towards 3. Roy Viveka just behind, battling with Mark Lutz in that little fracas, but at least for the moment they have all managed to navigate the opening lap without too much going wrong at this stage. Newman would have hoped for more carnage on the opening lap. He's stuck behind Mick Barry at the moment and would very much like to get through as quickly as he can, because the groups aren't necessarily forming too quickly here in this one, but it looks like Martin Sampson is trying to eye up a move, as is Peter Van Gool.
Yeah, needs to keep that pressure on and force the driver into the mistake, in front of you into a mistake, as Kellerman under a lot of pressure as well from the Dutchman, Peter Van Gool, in that nice shiny red paint scheme as they come down this long straight towards 10A and 10B. Now are we going to see some big dive bombs here? It looks like Sampson trying to set it up for one as we go towards 10A.
Why not? Why not? Was trying for it, but wasn't quite available for it. So it's going to be another case of another lap that you have to tick off on the books and say, well, nothing really happened that time by. I can be pleased with that as a fact. So those times very much becoming a reality at this stage. The early goings, the early processes have been nice and calm. 0.6 of a second Dan Bristow has over the likes of Vincenzo Amico and Martin Sampson, but crucially, he's pulling them along with the draft, and that's the last thing he wants to be doing.
Absolutely. As we continue on lap 3, and it's a 5-car breakaway at the moment. Looks like Jamie Ayres can't really keep up with the lead pack at the moment. He does have Andy Maxwell, Dan Hunt, Anthony Larson, and behind him, and it looks like Dan Hunt has got around Anthony Larson as well, so that battle has come to an end as well. So a lot of separation in this pack already.
Yeah, they've all formed their own battle packs, and the Pete Newman pack looking very feisty as well, with Mark Lutz on the front, Cullinan and Jones very much chaperoning, as Viveka's going to go side by side on the run down towards 10A and 10B again. But at least for the time being, you wonder right now how they are all playing tactically in this race. It's a race of strategy here at Road Atlanta, and it will be down to whether Bristow can just keep his nerves and feel comfortable with where he is. Andy Maxwell now going for a chance then to make a move, this time on Jamie Ayres, as they go through the final corner and race towards one. They still remain too wide.
Yeah, as Vincenzo Amico sets the fastest lap of the race so far, and he's having to use that speed to try and get away from Sampson, but at the same time is right on the tail of Dan Bristow as well. Jamie Ayres no longer under pressure from Andy Maxwell, because Dan Hunt now has moved himself ahead of Maxwell and will be in search of that Momo car now.
Yeah, so back up another place for Dan Hunt now into 7th position with that overtake, and a good one as well. And they scrap side by side up the hill at 5. Pete Newman gets a little bit of a door from Craig Jones. That wouldn't have been the friendliest thing. He would have gone, oh heck, that's not quite what I want. But ultimately what was given at that point in time as the run out of 7 for the leaders happens once again. But this is the thing, you get caught up in a bit of argy-bargy as Pete Newman has. All of a sudden, Mark Lutz is a 2.5 seconds down the road.
And Lutz has had a pretty, by his standards, not a very spectacular second half to the season. Obviously, his teammate Andreas Katz has decided to take the rest of the season off, and is the only Top Gun driver now, as he's going to put a move on Ralph Cullinan. And I will say, Cullinan's not had the most spectacular start to the night either. He's been very quiet tonight.
Yeah, but still up 2 places and still fighting with Mark Lutz as he gets the drive out of 10B and down the hill. Larson now looking to attack Andy Maxwell towards turn number 1. All of the battling's there, as is with the race lead, because Amico is shadowing like a hawk Daniel Bristow, who will now have to feel the heat after 6.5 minutes worth of racing here at Road Atlanta, because it's all Amico at this stage, just keeping the blue 12 honest.
Yeah, they have to be careful, because that red Momo car is coming up behind them as well. Van Gool has finally got around Charles Kellerman and is looking for that 3rd spot. The top 2 starting to get away from Sampson, so Sampson probably gonna be the next victim for that number 39 car.
Yeah, victim might just be the right word for it, as they go through and deal with their race at the moment. Top 5, all line astern as things stand. Get back, of course, to that 6th position. And a race which really, by standards, is going to be all about just staying calm, and some just scoring points out there will get the job that they want completed here in this one. Here comes Amico, though, for the race lead. Down the inside. Bristow, though, is having absolutely none of it. He holds it on the inside of 10B.
Well, Amico's still looking through the final 2 corners, though. Took a big look to the inside through 11. And still can't get it done into 12, so he's going to try and take a look at the turn 1. Here comes Samson as well. Big look as well as Amico. Side by side now with Bristow going up the hill towards the S's.
Going up, looking for more. How are they going to play it? On the brakes through the right. Amico so aggressive. Washing out a bit there was Samson. And there is Van Gool sweeping around 4. Down into the S's section. He's got the move.
Yeah, great move there by Van Gool. Capitalising on that mistake by Samson. And, well, that just shows a very mature head on the shoulders of the Dutchman as he now sets off in search of Vincenzo Amico. And this is probably the best I've seen Van Gool all season as Jamie Ayres goes off through, I believe that's turn 7.
It is turn 7, and it is the smallest of small mistakes. Just a little greedy on the off-camber corner. Drifts it through the grass. Good heads-up driving by Dan Hunt, who is in damage limitation mode. Gets up into 6th. Side-by-side for lead. Amico with a really good run on that outside line. And it's going to be Dan Bristow trying to defend that one on the inside. Continues the outside track and has done a wonderful job again to cover it off. If inside doesn't work and outside doesn't work, then what does?
Well, straight through the middle, but I wouldn't recommend it because you're going to take either yourself or both of you out. But here comes Van Gool now. And I said this is the best I've seen him all season, and he's showing that again as he's all over the back of Amico. Here comes Samson again on the outside of Van Gool. Gonna dive it in there, big dive from Samson, and gets the position back.
Good move, and you need to attack in these moments in the race. If you see an opportunity, go for it, and that's what Samson did, and to devastating effect at this moment in time. Going to be also interesting to see where the reverse grid comes into play for this one, and just quietly going about business, hoping for drivers to run into some form of trouble here in this race is Charles Kellyman in 5th position. But that group of 6th and 7th, they are also closing on to the back here. So Dan Hunt, 36.2 that last time by, 7/10 quicker than Bristow at the front.
Problems with Steve Cooley near the back. He's had a bit of an off track. I think he might have got a bit of a slowdown as well. He's dropped to P17 now, just behind Steve Hansford. So the third man in that Ronin Simsport team, just not having a good start to the night so far. Same could be said for Alan Toon and Andy Littler, who are both out on track, but so far back, it's quite
contact
unreal.
between the leaders. Contact between the leaders. They went through 10A and 10B, and this has opened the door up for Martin Sampson. Van Gool down the hill, too wide, too deep, as they figure out how they go through. Martin Sampson moves to the point with about 3.5 minutes to go on the clock. Bristow's going to attack immediately back. Van Gool's on the inside, almost contact there. I think there was contact, a push to pass from Amico, getting by one Mr. Martin Sampson, who's gone almost first to 5th in the space of 2 corners, as now all of a sudden Dan Hunt side by side with Charles Kellyman.
Yeah, Dan Hunt is still on a charge and still leaving nothing on the table for the others as he now gets around Charles Kellyman through the S's. Kellyman actually backing out of that one and almost contact with Jamie Ayres through turn 5, so Kellyman almost getting into a lot of trouble, but here we go, there he is into the wall.
And that's not his fault. Crucially, it's not his fault, because Anthony Larson was trying to thread the gap there between them. He was stuck on the outside, tried to merge, but let's be fair here to Anthony Larson. Doesn't have to give the road to Charles Kellyman. He was off the circuit.
That he was, and unfortunately, that is going to end his race 1. competitively anyway. He gets it back running. He's only got some front bumper damage, but definitely not going to be happy with that one. As here we go, side by side between Van Gool and Amico. Amico back up to second place.
Yep, easy move. Had it done before the corner, and that's all you can really ask for in a race like this. Bristow, though, back out front for all of a corner. Hasn't had the race lead to go and play with here so far today, but with 2 minutes to go and 2 laps remaining, it's going to be a case of can you get away or will you get away in the final couple of moments. Some great recoveries up through the field. Pete Newman, by the way, on his charge, he's got 5 seconds to Andy Maxwell. He probably won't reach that, but he's gone up to 9th place, which is a really good drive.
Yeah, and this is what I was saying earlier about Pete Newman, capitalising on the other drivers not taking times in qualifying and just absolutely blasting his way through the competition as he flies his way for the field. Like I said, probably not going to move up to P8, P9, probably going to be his best in race 1.
Yeah, so race 1 might be only P9, but you can recover it through the other 3 races. Will have a better position than a lot of other drivers out there will Pete Newman at that point in time. But the attacks continue then from the front 6 who try and get themselves into play, who try to get themselves an overtake if possible, which would really set up some wonders late on with a lap and a little bit to go. And you can see just how much Amico is closing.
Yeah, Amico loves to use that draft down that long straight, and he takes a little peek on the exit of that little kink at turn 9 through 10A and 10B. Not quite close enough. It seems like Bristow has the edge on him over under braking, and you can see it right there, a bit of a separation between the two, even more.
Bit of a separation, but the gap as they cross the line has halved since they last were over the line. 0.3 of a second, 1 lap to go here in race 1 of 4 tonight at Road Atlanta. Will it be Daniel Bristow who can pick up another race win to add to an impressive points haul, or will the championship leader have something to say about it? Van Gool trying to desperately hold on in 3rd. In 4th is Martin Sampson. You got Dan Hunt in 5th. Jamie Ayers in 6th position. And every reason to go out there and be aggressive through the left of 5. And up over they go through that rumble strip style curve. And then the next right of 6 and 7 follow. Little look to the inside for Vincenzo Amico. But not yet is the option. Can't get it sorted yet. But now you've got this long straight. It's primed. It's ready. You know that Dan Bristow's going to try and defend this one. He's covering off every angle he possibly can. Looks like we're in serpentine mode at this point. Which way do you want to go? Which way am I going to go? Potentially is what is being coordinated right now. And that's a hard move to the inside from Vincenzo Amico. He knows what he wants. It's a left-right. He wants to be on the left going into this section of road. As now, it's going to be about Dan Bristow. How good is he on the brakes? There's a bit of contact under braking. No changes of position behind. Van Gool's going to get a storming run, but he gets tempered, of course, there by one Mr. Dan Bristow. Amico got the move when he needed to, and as he crosses the line, he takes race 1 here at one fantastic Road Atlanta.
The 6-car pack crossing the line there, and Dan Hunt, big move for him. Oh, a bit of a well, that's just his usual end of race antics there from Dan Bristow, but good results from everybody, more so for Pete Newman as well, moving from the back of the field up to P9.
Should note as well, one retirement it will be in the form of Charles Kellyman after his hit out there did not produce the frankly desired results in this race. But before we take ourselves to confirmation of this result, we're going to go to our spinning wheel. We love it here with ESPN. What it does is it coordinates for us where is the group that we are looking for. Stay into full view, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to spin that wheel right now. We'll see how the grid will stack up for race number 2.
And it's number 7 to kick things off.
Oh, a very small reverse grid. Now, that's interesting. Andy Maxwell will take the pole for that, but confirmation of result then, Vincenzo Amico picks it up 16:11.868, does so by 3/10 over Daniel Bristow, with Peter Van Gool ending up in third. Martin Sampson gets fourth, with Dan Hunt fifth, Jamie Ayers in sixth, and your pole sitter for the next race being Andy Maxwell from 7th to 7th. Number 7 gets the pole for the next one. Anthony Larson just misses out in 8th place, with Pete Newman also on the wrong side of it there in 9th. Top 10 being rounded out overall by Ralph Cullinan up 2 places. Craig Jones ends up with 11th, and 12th position goes to Mark Lutz. 13th in the end is Roy Viveka, with Mick Barry 14th. Steve Cooley, Steve Hansford, so the two Steves not doing the most amazingly there. Alan Toon, Andy Littler, and the one retiree from this race being the cleanest man on the grid. That is Charles Kellyman. But we now get this opportunity to potentially have a little peruse up and down the grid, see if we have an opportunity to talk to a couple people here and there. And, well, where better to maybe have a look than with a driver who was right up there in terms of the battles over the course of that first race, that being Martin Sampson. Martin, let's talk about the race first and foremost, because you had the briefest glimpse of the race lead, but as quickly as it was there, you were finding yourself freight trained back to 5th.
Yeah, no, it was the two in front of me and all that. They had a bit of a coming together, coming down to the chicane, so I had to run on them all. So I shouted to Daniel, tell him I was on his right. So so I went wide coming out the last turn. He took on the inside, and then when we came up to the braking zone, I had a little bit of a hit behind by Vinny. So that slowed me right down, so I had to lift off and all that, and then went down a couple of more places then. Unfortunately, but these things happen.
They certainly do. A tumble down the order is not what drivers often envisage when they go out there and race. How important has it been to get off to a good start, knowing that both your teammates here in this league are in championship contention, and you, maybe even more outside than outside, effectively do not?
I think it was. I think the last couple of weeks have been really good, and that I had one race last week which was quite poor. So I'm hoping to get all good 4 races tonight. Just to close the gap, make it a little bit tighter towards the top of the table. Because I'm not around. I'm not going to be around for the last race next week. So I've got to show what I can do tonight.
That much you very much will need to. So before we let you go, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Well, obviously to Optical Racing, enjoyed racing for them for this season, and also with Roy, Daniel, Steve, Andy, and Charles as well. It's been a pleasure racing with them this year.
Not a worry at all.
And of course for you guys on the stream as well. You're doing an absolute wonderful job.
Of course, can't forget us. Martin Sampson, that good drive out then to 4th place overall, with that effort being put on in. But for at least the time being, we are going to step aside here for just one moment when it comes to ESPN. We'll be back with race 2 after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your fantastic UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series. We are here with the penultimate round of the championship at Road Atlanta, and it is not in guarantees mode just yet. It is a tough battle to find yourself in, but now is the time to just keep calm. A low reverse grid is going to make things very dicey up at the front. Jake Sperry, Sam Cooper Bennett. Sam, a low reverse grid for this race 2 will mitigate a lot of the damage that is traditionally done in race 2s with high reverse grids and very big issues. How does a small grid mentality or small reverse mentality make life even more difficult in some respects as drivers get more and more aggressive and comfortable racing against their opponent?
Well, 6 of those 7 drivers were all bunched together when we crossed the line to end race 1, so it's just going to be battles resumed between those guys. And you got to think that the guys that finished where they did in race 1, they'll be looking to progress forward even more. Let's say for Pete Newman, who's back there in P9 on this second race, he'll be looking to pick up a few more spots, I'm sure.
Absolutely. So it's going to be very much a case of, well, now is the time. We are going to be in a really strong position to see some racing. So now what in terms of this race? Have you got exactly what it takes to go out and put everything nicely together with a nice neat bow on top and put another 10 laps in the board? It's going to be potentially another case of make moves quickly. What we saw is that the driver at the front had a lot of sway in terms of how you battle. It's going to be a tough circuit despite all the draft really here, Sam, to get things done.
Yeah, it's I mean, we've seen already the battling is very intense around here, especially with those runs down from the straight through turn, the kink and turn 9 down towards 10A and 10B. That's where the most of the runs are coming from. We're also seeing a lot of attempts at overtaking through 11 and 12, which is very interesting because they're not normally places where you can try and make an overtake.
Yeah. So this is going to go and be a really important chance to get these overtakes done. So you know that it's going to be about being aggressive. You know it's going to be about how do you position yourself to be aggressive. But there are multiple ways to defend a place here around this Road Atlanta circuit. You can be aggressive on the inside trying to get the move done and try and just swarm the pass down and just send it as deep as you possibly can. Or you can be a little bit more tactical with it, try and be aggressive out of the exits of these corners and pick up the move coming out of 10B. It seems like either way works both for attack and defense.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that in race 1 as well, the battle between Bristow and Amico. Amico, for the longest time, trying that outside line going into 10A and 10B. Didn't work out for him, so he waited until the final lap. Decided to go for that inside line, definitely worked out for him that time round, and was able to pick up his third race win of the season.
A third race win of the season, which could go an incredibly long way if you consider just how important this championship can be. We talk about points, we talk about scoring points and scoring good points over the course of things, and that is a back pocket Vincenzo Amico after that run going forward. We are still in the waiting process, waiting for everything to be finalised here before we can advance the session on and get on to the next race that comes into fruition. We saw a very clean start in race 1. I believe we're going to see something very similar here in race 2. These hotter conditions certainly are helping out. 33 degrees. They're ideal in the sense that you're not going to really have as much oversteer in these machines as cold conditions tend to do.
Yeah, and cars like this favour colder temperatures because it's easy to get around the track and get you really attack the corners a bit more. I mean, I remember when I raced in the Petit Le Mans last year, and it was very difficult to get around here in hot temperatures, but once it got dark and it cooled down, I was able to attack the corners a bit more, and I was having a much nicer time. I'm pretty sure it's the same for these guys too.
Yep, I would agree as well, as they all focus on their practice laps and getting more adjusted and dialed in to the circuit as they go around, and hopefully it's going to be a case of how can you attack. And we've been keeping an eye on the progress of the 118 machine as well, of Pete Newman, who of course here, Sam, has struggled in qualifying because of that EXQ that he got from last week, but he gained half the positions he needed. Now you'd say he's got a chance to really go out there and attack for the win.
Yeah, and a driver very well known for making up a lot of positions. He's going to be looking to gain a lot more here tonight and in this second race, and hopefully be in the conversation for the race win at the end. Another driver that was powering his way for the field was Dan Hunt as well, and he's picked up his pace a little bit, and I'm seeing in practice he's actually the fastest man out there right now. So definitely showing more pace as this evening goes on.
Yep, and we are now just ready here in terms of position to take that advance forward. We are going to move forward in towards race number 2 with every single bit of fun and battle that we are going to be seeing moving on. So let's get the grid up on screen for you. This is how everyone is going to be stacking up in this second race. Andy Maxwell will be on the pole position, the AM category driver, with Jamie Ayers alongside. Dan Hunt goes from 3rd with Martin Sampson 4th, and Peter Van Gool in 5th. Daniel Bristow still on a podium streak. That streak now of consecutive podiums stands at, let's count, 7 right now as he's in 6th position. Vincenzo Amico starts 7th with Anthony Larson in 8th place. Pete Newman in 9th, Ralph Cullinan 10th. Then it's Craig Jones and Mark Lutz. Roy Vervaker, Mick Barry, Steve Cooley, Steve Hansford, Alan Toon, Andy Littler, Charles Kellyman from the back make up the 19. Great chance to attack if you are Andy Maxwell. AM category championship is very much going to be in the form focus. Everyone on the grid then, lights on at this Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. Let's get going. Jump start for one Mr. Peter Van Gool. He was creeping on that line, knew that he had broken it, didn't decide to go immediately, decided to sit and wait, and he's got troubles. Ayers immediately attacking here on the run towards turn number 1 as they all fire it on into the corner. Ayers attacking Maxwell off of the exit. Brilliant power going on through the right of 2 in towards turn number 3 and move past, score complete.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Peter Van Gool. Just couldn't hold the clutch long enough to stay in his starting slot, and unfortunately we'll have to bring it down pit road for a penalty. Big crash in the S's.
Lutz and Barry's been caught up in it, and it's still going on. Littler and I believe Toon have just come together now. It seems like Hansford's been caught in it. Cullinan has the engine blown. A massive hit, and it was Lutz and co who were making that contact. It looks like it was a battle between Lutz and Cullinan. Went through the S's section, and Mark Lutz was trying to be a bit too aggressive there, has caused the accident and has caused the big one to get everybody out in the back of the pack. The front of the field, though, has no such issues. A slowdown, though, it seems, for Pete Newman is not going to be helping things out right, but at least for the moment, it is Ayers, Maxwell, Sampson, as Dan Hunt and Dan Bristow fight it out for 4th.
Yeah, so close battling up at the front, and yeah, unfortunate for the guys at the back. They're going to have to, well, some of them are going to, well, they're all going to have to sit it all out. They're all that take it down pit road, but very good racing at the front, and already Jamie Ayres starting to stretch his legs over Andy Maxwell. And Maxwell will be happy to see his AM category teammate and championship contender Charles Kellyman somewhere near the back, as Peter Van Gool brings down pit road for penalty.
Yeah, that's for the drive-through, or the stop and go, I believe it is going to be for speeding in, for jumping the start. So that's going to be a case of work to be done, but fortunate work, you would say, for Peter Van Gool, because of the fact there are so many drivers out then in the early goings. of this race. Sampson and Bristow on the back of Maxwell here, fighting it out for third position and soon second as they go through, and it's all Sampson looking to attack and be aggressive. You've got Dan Hunt there, you've got those who need to be, and there's contact between the teammates, and look at this. This is bringing Dan Hunt right in, but he's boxed himself in. It's like watching a highway chase at about 11 o'clock at night on the American freeways here when you've got someone trying to break away. And now look at Dan Hunt. He's going to move up into second from nowhere. Amico's trying to thread the needle. 3 wides he goes through, the door shuts.
Yeah, and rule number 1 on the exit of turn 7 there. Just don't hit your teammate, and that's exactly what happened right there. Is still all scrambling going on as Amico gets around Maxwell. Maxwell dropping a ton of spots there in that last sector of the track.
Easily done. Maxwell got spooked going through the corner, lost all momentum coming through that section of road, and that's why he's behind both of the Ronin cars now at this point in time. But it is still Jamie Ayres in control. Lap 3 of 10 we find ourselves onto right now. And remember, next week's season finale is Long Beach, USA. Really, really good track. Important track to get racing done at. It will be the first time here with UK Sim Racing that we are going to be going to that place. They crest the rise up through 5. And this long left as Sampson gets really aggressive through here. Maxwell's trying to get back in place. You've got Viveka and Jones as well on the back, trying to keep in some form of tact. In comparison, Larson down the inside into 6, gets by Andy Maxwell.
Yeah, so Larson up a spot right now, but Maxwell not giving it up as you'd expect from him. He's been very much on it all season long. That's why he's up in second place in the AM category championship right now, and is now going to come under threat from his teammate Roy Viveka.
Yep, so there is Roy Viveka, teammate, but not in terms of this championship. Optical Blue and Optical Green, 2 different teams classified because there are so many optical drivers who want to race this, but it's a back out there from Roy Viveka. He knows better than to go out there and attack. Sampson now looking in front and seeing that gap open up because Hunt and Bristow, the 2 Dans, leaning down in on Jamie Ayres, will be trying everything to keep those 2 very, very fast drivers up in the pointy end of the championship back. Here comes Amico, though, at turn 1 against Martin Sampson, but he's having none of it on lap 4. They are going to stay as is.
Yeah, that's a worrying sign for Amico. You can see Dan Hunt is challenging for the lead up ahead of him, so he needs to dispatch Martin Sampson as quickly as possible. But like you said, Sampson having absolutely none of it as he's just trying to keep that number 78 behind him and doing a good job of it as well.
And there's a reason why, because car number 12 is on such a tear right now. This could be 8 straight podiums and 10 podiums in the last 11 starts if it goes like this. It will be 12 podiums in the last 13 as they go through. This is really incredible form by Dan Bristow, who now has found the ability to finish and is showing that potential that he can make results happen and appear. Ayres now will be a sitting duck on this back stretch as here comes Dan Hunt, who has led the majority of this championship so far. Moving, of course, to that outside, looking to try and pick up the move then on the inside, trying to get this done on the brakes all the way and not quite able to find that one on defense is Jamie Ayres. It's pass complete, and now to the race lead. Dan Hunt has the most unenviable 6 laps remaining.
Yeah, as Bristow had a little look going through 10A as well, just wasn't close enough to complete the pass, as well as now Sampson and Amico side by side again. Almost contact between Bristow and Ayres as Hunt runs wide into the out of turn 1. That's like Ayres back in on the entrance to the S's.
Not over yet, though. Bristow and Sampson, the 2 teammates side by side. They've got to sort it out between them here and figure out what is the best move. Just enough room being given as they enter the S's, and they will exit it up the rise through turn 5. They've allowed Anthony Larson back onto the train, and they've allowed Dan Hunt a little bit of gap after that very sketchy opening sector of the lap. Could have gone so very wrong. Bristow on the outside, a little bit of grass as he grabs it on the entry, and that is going to mean he stays behind Jamie Ayers, but only for the moment right now, as Ayers needs to stay in range to attack off the exit, and he won't.
Yeah, and again, he's going to be a sitting duck coming up this long straight now, as here comes Bristow already on the attack now, side by side with Ayers as they come down now the hill towards 10A, and it looks like Bristow might have the job done before they even get to the chicane.
Sampson with the bump draft then on the straight, wants to push down Bristow through against Jamie Ayers, who's giving everything he can to keep the nose in, but the right, this contact as they go through. Sampson's going to get a chance now, also getting a chance as Amico. They're going to be 3 wide down the hill here at 11 and 12. Someone's going to have to yield through this section, otherwise it's going to be disaster, and it's going to be a case of they've done well. But look at Ayers trying to figure it out. He goes hard to the inside. Amico trying to cover 2 tyres in the grass. 3 wide to turn number 1 they go. Fantastic battling. There's the contact as they go through. Ayers pushing off the road. Vincenzo Amico.
Yeah, disaster for Amico and for Sampson, as Amico only loses 2 spots while Sampson loses a whole plethora of spots now down to P8. Now has Craig Jones behind him, looking very threatening as well.
Craig Jones who wants to get through, but Baker is through. Maxwell is through at this stage. Lap 6 of 10 here in this race at Road Atlanta. Everyone is pushing this one like the rag and bone man to the ragged edges of this one, and the front 2 have broken away, and it's the 2 Dans, you would say, at this point in time, who are looking best placed for victory. Dan Bristow, Dan Hunt. They're going to have to try and figure it out between them what they want. Amico with a good run here on Anthony Larson. This should be a plain sailing overtake.
Yeah, going to be a case of team orders in place right there for the 2 Ronin cars, as there goes Larson just letting Amico by. But Dan Bristow and Dan Hunt at the front now, battling out for the lead. And there's no love lost between these 2 here, Jake, because they have come to contact before, most notably, most recently at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
I certainly agree on that. Bristow giving a lot of room as he went by. Dan Hunt, who knows he's got to be very much bloodhound-like as he wants to try and charge and attack and stay with Daniel Bristow. You've got to be very resolute battling a driver as quick as him on track. A bit of side-by-side again, Larson and Maxwell slow off the exit. This will bring Viveka and Sampson through, and maybe Craig Jones, if he's not too careful, to cover that one very nicely. Jones trying the outside, but ultimately never had room for turning.
Yeah, had to back off through that one, and he'll have to try all that again and maybe close the gap even more, because he lost almost a whole second to Maxwell because of how much he backed off, as we had side by side coming up through turn 5 between Viveka and Sampson has got the bit between his teeth now. He really wants to get those spots back now.
With Anthony Larson just in front, you would bet your bottom dollar that this is going to be a really important stage of the race for someone like what is Martin Sampson. You now start to figure out here that Anthony Larson is pushing a little bit wider through every corner, starting to use his instant points up to defend places, because he knows that there's no point once you've already lost 1 instant point. You've got a limit, of course, of 20, which comes into play for a drive-through penalty. That is definitely something worth keeping in the back of the mind. As here comes Sampson down the inside, and Viveka very much scouted to it. That seems like the sort of move that was programmed to be an overtake. But Maxwell, well, he's having none of it. He had a little look to the inside, but he's now got to go completely into the defense wall.
Yeah, because Craig Jones is right back with them again as regrouped, and now we'll be on the attack once again. I will want to mention, though, great teamwork between Amico and Larson. Larson playing the rear gunner right now, keeping those optical cars behind him and letting Amico just scamper off ahead and chase down these 3 cars in front of him.
Yep, Jamie Ayers is the big one, and he's all over the curbs here as Vincenzo Amico desperately trying to find as much pace as he can. Look at them, they're all over the place trying to attack and move forward here, and Amico knows that he's got to go if he wants a podium, and to damage limitation to 2 very important riders there, Dan Bristow and Dan Hunt. Bristow, of course, looking absolutely impervious at this point in time in this second race, knowing there's 2 more races to go, and he hasn't finished outside of first or second since Sebring race 2, which we were unable to show you here, of course, with us at ESBN. But now is the time. You need to start attacking if you want it, and Amico has got himself into range on this lap. It's this next lap here, lap 9, the penultimate lap of the race, where you feel that he is going to start sending the feelers out to try and get a move done.
Yep, already a race winner tonight in race 1. Now we'll be looking for at least a 3rd place here in race 2. Obviously, none of this is over and done with yet, because Dan Hunt now starting to put Bristow under pressure again as they come flying through turn 1.
Yeah, Dan Hunt's not out of it, but he's not been in a position to be in it for the overtake, if you understand what I mean. It's been a case of he's been there, he's been using the track quite nicely to stay within a range, but it has been just that, a range. It looks like Andy Maxwell has struggled on this lap, has dropped himself another couple seconds, and now is behind Craig Jones. So that puts Maxwell back in 9th position. Disappointing, really, for Andy Maxwell. He's been a little bit in his own bubble, I think, this race. He's been a bit caught up as Amico is all over Jamie Ayres.
Yeah, and I think he's more relaxed with the fact that Kellyman is behind him, but while he's been having those struggles, Kellyman has been slowly, he's been embroiled in a massive battle with Steve Cooley for that last spot in the top 10, and, before that, he was slowly making his way through the field. So Kellyman isn't all that far behind if you think about it.
No, I agree. It was just 1 point's position as they crossed the line, which is nothing in this championship. Dan Hunt looking close. Here comes Amico, though, looking for that final spot on the podium, down the inside of Jamie Ayres, and it's done.
Yeah, it didn't wait until the last lap like in race 1. He wanted it right now, and he got it. And being very forceful going through 10A and 10B. Now has the place. Probably won't get up to Dan Hunt right now, but he's going to have a job to hold on to 3rd place, because here comes Jamie Ayres once again looking to the inside towards turn 1.
Yeah, there's battles for 3rd, for 1st, and for 5th as they're 2 wide. Larson and Sampson trying to figure it out. The battles of the sister cars of Optical and Ronin as they climb the hill to 2 and 3. It's Sampson who holds that battle off quite nicely. Bristow again through the opening sector has pulled out a couple tenths then over Dan Hunt, who will have it all to do on the run to 10A and 10B once again, if he can keep it in a range and absolutely send for attacks and reinforcements in the latter stages. You've still got the Cooley-Kellyman battle as well that's keeping an eye out on, and now Viveka wants in on Larson. He's not going to quite get there. Little too aggressive then from what is Jamie Ayres. His battle with Amico might be done, but Dan Hunt is digging at this stage, and he is searching for an overtake. The gap about 3 car lengths at this stage of these Miatas. Very small, very nimble, these MX-5s. The kink of 9 they go through right now, and this is going to have to be a send here from Dan Hunt. He's looking either way to try and get it done. A second move down to the inside as he goes through. Can he get this covered on Bristow? They lead on each other through 10B. Side by side, the contact. They lead again as they go through the inside. It's Bristow's all the way here to the line, but Hunt's got a great dig and a great drive as they go through. But Bristow's going to hold on with a great finish to this one. Ayres slides across the line in 4th place, and Sampson holds on for 5th.
Now the gap at the end there between Dan Bristow and Dan Hunt, 37 1,000th of a second, so just that close at the end, and Hunt really leaving it all on the line there for the end of that race. And great battling all around, but we're still seeing little pockets of battles going on around the track as well. Van Gool, who has had he's had a mare of a race in race 2. He's down in P12. Pete Newman, he actually in the negative for his race. Started P9, down in P13 to finish this one off.
You can see the damage that Pete Newman's been struggling with all race. Steve Hansford closing in nearly 4 seconds on the last lap, and Hansford was the slowest driver in qualifying, of course, mind you. So that tells you all you need to know about the struggles there today of Pete Newman in race number 2. But before we get to confirmation of result for the second time tonight for race 3 coming up, we are going to spin that wheel. When we do, we know what the grid invert will be for race 3 and how everyone is going to be stacking out for that next battle of this championship.
And it is a full grid swap.
And that would be the last thing that a couple of drivers would want. A full reverse grid for race 3. Confirmation of result. Daniel Bristow picks it up. 16 minutes, 13 seconds. Wins by 300ths over Dan Hunt in the 07 in second. With Vincenzo Amico playing damage limitation there in third. Jamie Ayres, great race from him to hold on to 4th place in the end. It was with Martin Sampson 5th and Anthony Larson in 6th position. Roy Viveka again consistent with a 7th place finish. Craig Jones in 8th. Andy Maxwell from the pole back down to 9th. And Steve Cooley rounding out then the top 10. Charles Kellyman gets 11th with Peter Van Gool and Pete Newman 12th and 13th. Then 14th will be Steve Hansard. And because of drivers over a lap down, Andy Littler will be taking the pole. 15th position on the grid. 15th position he finishes in this race, he will get pole for the next race coming up forward. Mark Lutz, Mick Barry, Alan Toon and Ralph Cullinan, because of the fact that they all got caught up in that lap 1 accident, they are ineligible for that reverse grid, and issues aplenty, we can then say, all put things into the perspective. But we talk perspective here in a series like this. We talk about drivers who give absolutely everything out there. We're going to have a chat with Jamie Ayres, who came home in 4th position overall in that one. Jamie, that 46 car looked like it was trying to hold on for dear life for every single position. In the end, it's just not enough for a podium, but still a great amount of character to hold on for as long as you did.
Thanks, Jake. Yeah, I've not had much time to practice. I'm catching up on the boys this week, so the first time I've driven the car in a week. So yeah, and practice does make a big difference in this car.
Certainly does, but let's talk about the final stages of that race. You had Amico bearing his fangs down on you. Ultimately, the pass does come into play, but such is the nature of this track, you're never truly out of the battle.
No, and going onto the back straight on the last lap, I just took too much curb and it just lost me drive off the corner, and Amico got another couple of tenths on me, and it was just too much to make back in that slipstream at the end.
Well, surely there'll be some positives coming up, because race 3 will be a full invert, so you'll be starting this one from 12th position on the grid. Do you feel like this full reverse grid is going to throw up a few interesting scenarios, seeing as there was an incident at the back of the field in that second race?
Oh, they certainly keep you on your toes. There's usually something that goes on. It's just hoping you either get it through it smoothly or you stop and nobody runs in the back of you.
Well, the prayers will need to be answered then over the course of that next race. Before we let you go, Jamie, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Yeah, just kind words from everybody over the last couple of weeks. I think you mentioned it last week. I had a little spell in hospital and all that, and the boys' comments were lovely. So thank you to you and to all the boys for that.
No worries at all. Jamie Ayres then 4th position in that one. A lot of reasons to be out there, to be excited, to be pretty solid in terms of that level of result. We're going to step aside, though, for one moment here with your Esports Broadcasting Network. We'll be back with more action here from this Road Atlanta circuit after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to your British sim racers, or what we would say is our UK sim racers, MX-5 Pro Series here today from this wonderful Road Atlanta circuit. Tiredness, it really does play a big factor, especially for all of these drivers here today, and including us here in the booth. I'm Dick Sperry, Sam Cooper Bennett, along for the ride, just in the fringes of practice, going to the race, a full reverse grid, very much in the offing. Everything is going to be massively determinate on this third race. So this is going to be a very, very tough battle that we are going to see. Looks like we've got a couple of little hold-ups before we get ourselves going. But Sam, a full reverse grid. This is the first real chance we get to see who can slice and dice through a field.
Yeah, and a couple of the slower drivers up at the front of the field. Obviously, we had 4 retirements in race 2, so they're going to be staying at the back. But Andy Littler will be on the pole for race 3. So, like I said, Littler not really on the pace this weekend, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he handles it at the front in this race.
Yeah, absolutely. So this could be a really a case of handle from the front, see how you can go and really push forward, see what you can do. You've got nothing to lose if you're on the front in a full reverse grid. You just drive hard as you can, and if they catch you, they catch you. That's the sort of way that these races tend to go, and often tend to be forgotten, actually, with the way that they sometimes go. Checkered flag, though, is out. The grid will come up on screen as follows. Here, ladies and gentlemen, on the pole will be Andy Littler in the 2-1-1 with Steve Hansford alongside. Pete Newman goes from 3rd and Peter Van Gool in 4th. Charles Kellyman starts 5th. Steve Cooley in 6th with Andy Maxwell and Craig Jones 7th and 8th. Roy Viveka lines up 9th. Anthony Larson 10th with Martin Sampson and Jamie Ayres on row 6. Row 7 sees Vincenzo Amico, the championship leader, and Dan Hunt, his nearest rival. Daniel Bristow goes from 15th. You got Mark Lutz, Mick Barry, Alan Toon, and Ralph Cullinan. Lights on here at Road Atlanta. Race 3 tonight. Green and underway. Very, very slow start from the front row of the grid there. Looks like Hansford in every single shade of trouble off of the get-go. Was it too quick by Pete Newman? They are 3 wide into turn 1 behind him, as he will now go for that race lead. But off the road goes Andy Littler, and he'll have to be very careful about how he rejoins the track as he goes on through, and they will bottleneck up in towards 2 and 3. Looks like everyone is going to make it through okay as they go through, and Miko's around. Contact with Ayres, Hunt's involved.
Oh no, and that is not what you want to see on the start, especially if you're the top 2 in the championship. They both get it going once again, but definitely not the way they wanted to start the race here in race 3.
Not what they want at all. Amico looks like he's got just away with it there in terms of the hit. Not so much Dan Hunt. He's got more of his wheel showing, so some dramas off of the get-go. But what this does mean is it has opened a huge door for the likes of Dan Bristow and Roy Viveka, the 2 optical cars, to charge. Newman leads, Kellyman 2nd, Van Gool in 3rd and Cooley 4th, and there is Roy Viveka trying to get himself into 5th here. He's trying to get by Andy Maxwell.
Now it's battles resumed for those guys, because they were battling all race long in race 2. Samson, Viveka and Maxwell, and they're going to do it again as Viveka this time taking the initiative and being the front driver in those 3. Steve Cooley in P4. Van Gool got a clean start this time around, and he's already on the outside of Charles Kellyman. And look at Pete Newman. He finally sees his opportunity to lead a race, and already he's starting to pull a gap.
He is starting to pull a gap as Kellyman and Van Gool begin to fight it, almost a second behind. Van Gool, heavy, Danny inside, big wiggle, goes into the grass then. Can he gather it up? It's off camber through the entirety of that section. 3 more places gone, still trying to fight it to get back on circuit as effectively. Larson's going to go through, Bristow's going to go through, and also he can just continue on. He'll just go off. Oh, in the fence. There goes Craig Jones.
Yeah, and Craig Jones not having a good time there. I'm trying to look for him right there. There he is. And a lot of front end damage on that result car, possibly a bit of suspension damage as well. He's pulling it off the track.
Yeah, no surprises. That will have to be a tow, and that will really hurt. Van Gool with a mega slowdown penalty to serve will let through the likes of Dan Hunt and Vincenzo Amico, who are now on the back of Steve Hansford, looking for positions at this point. But it's all about patience needed in these early goings. Larson now has lost the position, and that is to Dan Bristow, who we know is aggressive and an uncanny place to get it done. The outside of 6, because it allows Larson here, and he's fighting right now to go straight back through and try and take this place again.
I'll tell you what, is not the highest driver up in the standings, but Larson definitely knows how to put up a fight, and he's definitely doing that against the most winningest driver in the league so far. Dan Bristow just had nothing for him there on that backstretch towards 10A. Still can't do anything for him through the final turn.
Yeah, nothing to be done. And here comes the move again, though, towards turn 1. It's 1.5 seconds clear at the moment as Cooley is through up now into second position. He's got the move done on the inside, and Bristow has almost got his move completed. But look at this. From one driver coming back, almost got there. Did Anthony Larson? He did not quite get that one sorted. Sampson, Maxwell, Viveka, Kellyman, Cooley, they're all there. And let's not forget that train here for second. 4 of the 5 cars in that train are optical, which is ideal here for Dan Bristow.
Very ideal, because obviously teamwork makes the dream work, as they say, and definitely gonna have a big advantage. Cooley, though, very impressive so far, but all this battling in this little pack right here is helping Pete Newman, already up to 2.3 seconds in the lead.
Already is the key word. Pete Newman is checking out, and there is not much more that you can say or do otherwise, as here comes Kellyman again, looking to challenge here against Steve Cooley. It's Cooley against the machine at this point in time, because Viveka might want to try and figure out a way through. He's not going to get there at this moment in time. Cooley, little bump to the back going through at 10A, saying, yep, I see you making that move. Makes sense. Maxwell searching for it. Now you've got Bristow fully on the back. And here comes another little look down the inside. It is Roy Viveka trying to push every bit of might and muscle, the Belgian driver, towards turn number 1. He'll have to try and sort it out. And look at this. That's Bristow. He's through 1, 2. Is it going to be 3? Contact with Cooley.
And Cooley's going to have to go off the track and come back on again. No serious damage for him, but he's going to file in behind his teammate, Anthony Larson, who's also on the attack on the back of Andy Maxwell.
Tell you what, train behind is actually digging as well. So Hunt, Van Gool, Amico, they are in chase mode and they are chasing hard. Bristow now surely will get a free pass from that driver in front of him. Roy Viveka, Sampson is pushing him every stage of the way. They are sensing an opportunity right now that Bristow's late season form could be absolutely integral as he moves up to 3rd position, and his run of podiums here looks like it is set to continue again. This time it will be to 9 straight races if it stays like this. So now you start to wonder, if you are the optical train, what are you going to do? What are you going to figure out? Charles Kellyman, remember, still has AM category to try and wrap up.
And the most important thing here for Dan Bristow is that he's keeping it clean whilst he's been out on the track as well. So those bonus points that you get for keeping it clean throughout the whole evening really will work in his benefit, and we'll probably see him move up the championship table even more.
Exactly, it'll be an extra 5 points if he can manage that. Such a good run against Kellyman. He has to temper it though. And towards turn number 1, 3.5 seconds the margin now to Pete Newman here on lap 5, and he's through that as well. So this is brilliant stuff from Daniel Bristow, just flying through the pack with reckless ease, you could say, at some points in time. Van Gool's now lost the place to Dan Hunt, who's got the move done into turn number 1, and he can focus once again also on Vincenzo Amico. These two have got to dig and maybe use Steve Cooley here as sort of a waypoint to get to that train.
Yeah, because they realise now, after 2 podiums so far, 1 win and 1 second place, Dan Bristow is now a genuine threat in this championship, and they need to claw back as many points and positions as they can, because Bristow is on a charge and is already starting to eat into that gap to Pete Newman.
That's the key as well. Newman knows that he's on his own and just racing by himself. We'll keep an eye on the Black Box relative here in iRacing to give him as much information as needed. Another little battle that's going on right now is for 15th place. Alan Toon versus Andy Littler. This is a cool battle we don't often get to see.
Yeah, and it's very good to see. And Toon has really picked up his aggression levels lately, usually known as the gentleman driver, but really has been putting up a big load of fights this season, and definitely going to put one up against the pole sitter right now.
Yeah, straight then through is it going to be? Well, they will hit the brakes down the hill, and that is comfortably scored as a pass. So Andy Littler falls behind Alan Toon, who's able to take his natural line through that section. Amico and Hunt side by side into turn number 1, and they're starting to fight amongst each other, which is the last thing that they need to be thinking. But I think Dan Hunt realizes, oh, if I can just get the one position here on Amico, I can be a very, very comfortable driver. Both of them getting caught up in the Jamie Ayres incident.
Yeah, and thankfully they got away with it with only minimal damage on their cars. Look at Van Gool right in the back of Hunt as well. He's looking very threatening as well.
God, Dan Hunt threw everything into turn 5 there on this 6th lap of 10 here in this race. Van Gool, remember, had himself the major slowdown penalty, which really did cost this one outright. So you start looking at it going, well, okay then, you've had a big penalty to deal with. You want to try and get back in. We're championship rivals who had an issue on lap 1, and you've got the battle going on. As it's very interesting to see Martin Sampson is bumping Roy Vervaeke down the entire straight.
A bump drafting here at Road Atlanta. You normally see that at the oval, which is not too far away. Yeah, exactly. So you normally see that down at the track down the road, but here we go. Vervaeke now going to put a move on Kellyman, and I will point out that Pete Newman has responded to Dan Bristow. He did pull that gap out a little bit more on that last lap, although Bristow has also responded. He's taken 2/10 out of his lead.
Yeah, down to 3.5 seconds now, but that doesn't look like it's going to be caught between now and the end unless Pete Newman, as rare as they come along, makes a mistake all on his own as he goes on through. Larson on the back. Cooley is there as well. So Antti Larson could be an interesting one here. If Larson can scurry his way through the pack, he could definitely take some points away from Roy Vervaeke, and that's probably... Oh! And he's just caught the bug. He's caught the bug as Antti Larson. He is upside down, and that is a really weird accident over the curb, and no other way to say it except he just caught the track at the wrong angle.
Yeah, and that is a horrible glitch there. That is fallen foul of, and ended up on his roll bars. No roof on these cars, of course, so very unfortunate for Anthony Larson. His race is over.
It will shock you when something like that happens. It doesn't often, but that'll be something that will be coordinated over to the iRacing crew of saying, hey, patch this please, and should be looked at for the next run through. Side by side though, between Roy Vervaeke and Martin Sampson. Sampson down the inside. He now takes the final spot on the podium then with that overtake, and that train of 4 is working really nicely at this moment with each other to figure it out. And for the moment, you'd say Dan Hunt is just desperately trying to stay in range here of Van Gool, and with Vincenzo Amico, he's not able to keep up here with 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and while we saw the incident with Anthony Larson, Van Gool did indeed get the pass done on Dan Hunt. Now we'll look to the back of Vincenzo Amico, but this trio just staying with each other, being patient at the moment. But Dan Hunt will not have liked the fact that the Flying Dutchman has already gone around him here and left him one spot behind Amico.
Something I have noticed, that if you are from Scotland, Finland, or the Netherlands, you are flying at some way, shape, or form. The Flying Dutchman, the Flying Scotsman, and the Flying Finn. There is always a flying something as they go through. But you know that Van Gool wants to gain that place, and all of them catching Steve Cooley. That should be plain sailing for all of them to go and get by in the latter stages of this race.
Yeah, Cooley starting to fall back into the clutches of them as they come out of turn 7 now, and here we go. This is where the draft is going to come into play for Amico. Going to be right on the back of his teammate. Should be an easy pass on Cooley for Amico. Probably not so much for Van Gool and Hunter, as obviously team orders will come into play right here.
Yeah, there's the move over, and Van Gool's going to thread the needle. They haven't shut it here as 3 wide they go. Look at this from Peter Van Gool. Amico covers it on the brakes here down the inside, gets it stopped. There's contact front to rear as they go through. Hunt's got the position on Cooley now, but Amico very nearly sparing his own blushes as they now take a very defensive line here going to lap 9.
Yeah, great move there by Van Gool, trying to thread the needle, trying to get around on Amico and gets it done. A small mistake there by Dan Bristow, had the gap down to just under 3 seconds. Unfortunately, the gap has risen now up to 3.7.
It happens like that though sometimes. You make one small mistake because you're pushing so hard. It hasn't cost many places, but I think it guarantees it now that Pete Newman is 2 laps away from victory here in this 3rd race of 4 at Road Atlanta. Now you've got to start wondering though, it's all about the championship positions here. Amico in all sorts of trouble with Peter Van Gool, who desperately wants to get through. Hunt, we know, is very opportune in the way that he makes overtakes. Bristow happy in 2nd, and Viveco, who's been slowly getting better into the night, 13th and 7th, is currently in 4th.
Yeah, and he's let Samson get away, and Samson capitalising on that mistake from Dan Bristow to close the gap ever so slightly, but it's not going to be enough here. 1.5 seconds the gap. The positions are probably going to stay the same as they are right now.
Probably is definitely the right word for it, but we will see how it goes as the last lap is about to start. Van Gool through on Amico, who tries to search for the inside. It's not there. Leaves the door open. Contact with Dan Hunt, and Hunt barges his way through, almost like very much a case of 2 props trying to get in for the last meal at lunchtime. But now you start to wonder here on this final lap, can Dan Hunt hold it off here, Sam, against Amico's already looking to the outside?
Yeah, Amico's not going to give this one up at all as he looks around the outside, trying to sail it around there, and side by side banging doors as they come up the hill towards the S's. And who's going to come out on top in this one? Looks like Amico has the nose out in front. Hunt is right there as well, side by side again through the S's. It's going to end in tears if they don't sort this out quickly.
Oh, side by side they go still, leaning on each other through every section. Big hip check there from Amico, and Dan Hunt drops the place, but he's still digging through that that left-hander of turn number 5. And now he's got to start figuring out what's more important, that 1 place or the point. And I'm sure that at some point he will think about the point late on in this race. Maxwell and Kellyman, the 2 battling for the AM category championship, they'll try and figure something out to the last lap. But now Dan Hunt will also have his look against Vincenzo Amico. Never has a battle for 8th place been more exciting here in sim racing circles. Final couple corners about to arrive as Maxwell attacks Kellyman into 10A, 10B. Pete Newman down the hill. A big win, an important win after starting from the pits in from the back of the field in race 1. Pete Newman takes the win in race 3. The battle goes to Kellyman's way in that scrap, and it's still going on between Amico and Hunt, but I think it is going to be Amico who is going to hold this off, defends the line through the right, the final corner, and out of road is Dan Hunt.
Yeah, great battle between Amico and Hunt. Obviously, a couple of races ago, that would have been a brilliant battle. These guys are just leaving nothing on the table. And what about Van Gool? Just using his, like making up for race 2 right there, putting on some brilliant moves there to finish up in P7 as well. Martin Sampson coming on in P3. Bristow, unfortunately, leaving it a bit too late to close that gap. He's going to have to settle for 2nd, but another podium for him.
Yep, you take those. Another podium certainly does make a difference, and that difference very much is an extra point or 2 there. So what we are able to do right now is take to the final time tonight our spinning wheel. We're going to work out where everyone has been able to put things together and where we will get our final grid of the night.
And it's number 8.
An 8-car reverse, and get this is crucial. Amico's got the pole, and Dan Hunt misses out on the reverse. So that is going to be absolutely crucial in terms of how they figure it all out together. So it will be, in terms of result, Pete Newman, who picks up the win, 16 minutes, 6 seconds, wins by 2.7 in the end over Daniel Bristow, who extends his podium streak to 9 straight races, with Martin Sampson finishing on the podium in 3rd. Roy Viveka gets 4th, with Charles Kellyman 5th, and Andy Maxwell in 6th, with Peter Van Gool 7th, and Vincenzo Amico on the pole for the final race of tonight in 8th place. Dan Hunt misses out in 9th, with Steve Cooley rounding out the top 10, Ralph Cullinan 11th, and Jamie Ayres all the way back where he started at P12 come the end of that one. Steve Hansford and Alan Toon 13th and 14th, with Andy Littler 15th, and then Mark Lutz in 16th position. Vic Barry P17, with Anthony Larson 3 laps down after the horrible glitch that he found himself on the wrong end of, and Craig Jones there in the final position overall, 19th, and 8 laps down over the course of the race. But we are going to get a chance then to talk to a driver here and there, and well, no better place to well, we would talk to Pete Newman, but he's muted and deafened in the server. So I think now is as good a time as any, it seems, at this point in time, if I can even get the dragging to work here in this Discord, to grab Dan Hunt for a bit of a conversation. Dan, an important race, that one. Let's talk about the opening stages of that race, an important moment in the context of the championship. What happened between Amico, Jamie Ayres, and yourself?
Those two came together, and it broke my car. Basically.
Please, sir, can you fit the bill for me, please?
Yeah.
But in terms of how you had to then manage that race with a damaged car, how important was it to stay with those drivers, with Peter and with Vincenzo, knowing how important every result is at this stage of the season?
Oh, it was vital. It's a shame I couldn't stay in front of Vincenzo, but yeah, it was I just didn't have any top end, unfortunately, so I couldn't really use the straights. I managing to keep up with them through the corners. The car felt absolutely amazing. It's just a shame that it was missing those last little horses.
And yeah, we will apologise for what's about to come in race 4, because it was an 8-car reverse, and of course you finishing P9 means you're on the outside looking in. How much of this last race is now going to be damage limitation, just carving your way back up through the field?
I'm going for the win. Might as well. We can get to the front from 9th.
Yeah, there's definitely the chance to do that. Of course, you've got the very fast Daniel Bristow and Pete Newman to deal with on top of that. But before we let you go here, Dan Hunt, shout out sponsors. Who gets it done for you?
Sim Racing Studios and Doff Reality. Go check them out.
Very simple, plain as it is. Dan Hunt there, getting the job done. 9th place, though, only able to manage with that one there. So, ultimately, we're going to step aside for the final time tonight, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta will host its final round of tonight, and then it will be our trek cross-country next week to Long Beach, California. We'll see you in a couple of moments here with ESPN, your esports broadcasting network. Welcome back for the final time tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to your UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series here from Road Atlanta. It is the final step on the road as they try and figure out who's got what it takes to be in a championship battle at at Long Beach, USA. I am very, very tired this evening. Dex Berry, Sam Cooper Bennett here, bring you all of the action. We've got some brilliant streaks on offing. We've got a reverse grid, which is tantalizing for everyone to go through. And the championship leader has got a pole position to go and work with at this stage. This is an important moment, though, in terms of how points get scored. Viveka here is on that consistency drive. Dan Hunt will definitely need some points. So will Dan Bristow. You feel anybody who is within 100 points going into that final race of the final 4 races of the season, you feel they've got a realistic chance of making something happen here. Yeah, and it's that consistency you talked about with Roy Viveka that has paid in dividends, because while we were on the commercial break, I did my maths, and it's very much mathematically impossible for Optical Green to catch Optical Blue now. So that, in turn, if my maths is correct, and it's been wrong in the past, crowns Optical Blue the team's champions after that third race. Every reason to be excited about that, and it is very close to being crowned the Optical Green team's championship. You talk about drop rounds, 242 for Charles Kellyman, he's on at the moment. But the key with that is that he's got a gap of 133 points, which would mean that unless Andy Maxwell can find 375 points on a race meeting, he hasn't done so far this season, Charles Kellyman has almost got this wrapped up nicely for the AMS category championship. So that's definitely worth keeping in mind as we bring ourselves into play. We are just a couple of moments clear from some amazing action here from this wonderful, wonderful Road Atlanta circuit, the Michelin Raceway, if ever it was one, and chef's kiss. This is a Michelin star of a racetrack. Checkered flag out then in practice. For the final time tonight, we're going to go down to the grid and figure out where everybody is going to be stacked up. And this is going to be an important point of contention as they all go through. So starting off then with the grid, Vincenzo Amico on pole position. We'll have Peter Van Gool for company. Andy Maxwell goes from third. Charles Kellyman alongside in fourth position. Fifth for Roy Viveka, sixth for Martin Sampson, seventh for Daniel Bristow, and eighth for Pete Newman. Dan Hunt starts ninth with Steve Cooley 10th, Ralph Cullinan in 11th, and Jamie Ayres 12th. The grid will go down because we're already set up. The likes of Hansford, Toon, Littler, Lutz, Barry, Larson, and Jones making the 19. Green flag will be long way in the air. We are underway. Slow start from Peter Van Gool. We know he's been caught with a jump start already over the course of this one. Maxwell's now been given license to attack, but the draft will immediately come into play. A good start from Viveka and co as they charge towards turn number 1 here for the very first time. Hunt is in the mix with Newman now as they go through, but Amico, perfect start as they battle for second and up the hill. Sampson struggles through this one, and a good start from Dan Bristow as well as they go into 2.
Yeah, and very all bunched up, but very clean at the same time, everybody making it through. But it's usually the second half of the S's where all the mistakes come into play, and already Newman almost getting into the side of Hunt as they come up the hill through the S's towards turn 5, but everybody looks like they made it around safely.
Everybody through the opening stages, which is really good to see in this race for lots of side-by-side. Toon, for example, and Barry, Lutz and Larson side-by-side. You've got Ralph Cullinan trying to attack Martin Sampson as they go through turn 6. Every which way you look, there is a battle to be had, and an important one as well. But Amico checking out at the front in the early stages, exactly what he wants to see at this stage, with the likes, of course, of Daniel Bristow chasing with the draft, trying to pick up Viveka and maybe Andy Maxwell as well to get the podium. Still Dan Hunt challenges with Pete Newman. He wants to go for that win, but it might be out of reach already as Dan Bristow now up into 4th place.
Yeah, Bristow already looking to the back of Andy Maxwell as they come through 10A and 10B. And Bristow, you mentioned streaks at the start of when we came back from the commercial break, and Bristow looking for his 10th straight podium And you know Maxwell isn't going to put up much of a fight once Bristow gets to him, then give it to him.
Yeah, you absolutely agree on that front. Dan Bristow is absolutely a driver possessed in the second half of this season. Knew he needed to be nigh on perfect. I'm not sure anyone thought he could be this perfect here, as it's covered off in through 2 and 3 to go through the right there of 3, the left of 4. And now they'll hit the S's, quote unquote, on track, side by side as well. Anthony Larson through on Steve Cooley. So the 2 Ronin cars fighting hard for position. Every position right now seems to be like it's a tooth and nail battle to the death. Try and make sure that you have got 1 place, a couple more points in the back pocket, as Maxwell still holding nicely down Bristow, but wait for the straight. But where that becomes the case is Newman down the inside of Charles Kellyman.
Yeah, Newman's starting to make up some spots right now. He's already up to P6. Dalton Hunt is up 1 spot into P8 now. Biggest mover so far is Anthony Larson, up 6 spots already. Lots of things going on, but Bristow now does, well, he's already alongside Maxwell. Might just get the job done coming into 10A and 10B, as he does have a nose out in front.
Does have a nose, he has a whole car now, and the move is done. Worth noting earlier on in the lap, Mick Barry had a spin up at turn 5. That's why he's down at the very back of the pack. And Sampson and Cullinan fighting hard for position as Martin Sampson wins that duel there through 10A and 10B. Give credit, though, to Peter Van Gool. He's just closed up that gap here to Vincenzo Amico, and he's not going to lie down in the red Momo car.
No, he's not. He's been showing a lot of aggression here tonight already, barring that second race where he was given that penalty for jumping the start. He's right on the back of Amico, but we've seen already tonight Amico is almost impossible to pass at times.
Almost impossible, definitely is still plausible, though. That will be the semblance of hope in this race right now. Good little battle actually way down the field. Littler, Lutz and Hansford fighting 16th, 17th and 18th. Lutz all over the back in the Top Gun car as they crest the rise through 5.
Yeah, and Lutz making up for last time. He had a bit of an off track on lap 1, so he's trying to make those positions back up. He's already ahead of Hansford. Going to be looking to the back of Littler. So Lutz, again, playing catch-up. He's had a pretty poor night by his standards tonight.
A poor night indeed, but now you start to figure out, okay, what do you need? Here comes Van Gool, though. He's going to move to the outside, trying to get it done. It's the inside for turn 9, but he can't get it fully along because we know Amico is great on the brakes. Brakes slightly later, lifts into the corner a little bit better, holds the place up, and now Bristow's there, and this will just check the train up under the Fox Factory Bridge here at Road Atlanta. They start to charge and harass and harry, and they know that this is a race they cannot afford to sit back. Look at Bristow, 2 tires in the grass. Amico, full defence. This is Indiana-style defending he'll have to do. He'll have to cover both lanes here as they go in towards 1. Bristow round the outside of Van Gool up to 2nd.
Brilliant pass there by Bristow, and this is just showing what he's capable of and what he's been capable of in the second half of the season. And now will set his sights on the man he's chasing for that championship, Vincenzo Amico, for that lead.
The chasing very much on Jamie Ayres is through now on Charles Kellyman. So another change of position. Ayres now starting to move a little bit. A train of 5 at the front with Maxwell in 4th, with Viveka there in 5th position. There is still a lot of points to be had on the table in this final race. One wrong move and it could be all over if you are not careful. So that's something that Amico's got to keep in the back of the mind, especially when we talk Long Beach next week, where it is a street circuit, where incidents where you hit the wall can destroy the car in a click of the fingers. Here comes Dan Bristow, though, looking for the race lead as they have built a gap of about 5 car lengths to Peter Van Gool. And sure, Amico's going to try and fight everything. Look at that. They're touching as they go through turn 9 to 10. They go and figure it out again. Amico covers it. Bristow gets turned. Van Gool gets turned. And 2 out of the battle for the race lead.
Looks like podium number 10 might be out of the window for Bristow, but still a lot of racing left to go. Bristow down in 9th as looks like, wow, it's Van Gool has fallen all the way down. Actually, Van Gool is out. He's already towed it.
Yeah, no surprises there. That is an unfortunate incident to have in those stages. Too much damage, it seems, as Steve Cooley gets through now on Charles Kellyman, who's going straight backwards. But Amico leads, Newman is second, and Dan Hunt now in third place. The question will be, A, how much damage does Dan Bristow have? And B, can he get through as Viveka gets absolutely marauded by an honest contact as they scatter around. That's one of the Ronin cars who's been caught up in that, and that's Anthony Larson.
Yeah, Larson for the second race running, going off and out of the race in that very same part of the course. As very unfortunate for Larson. He just can't seem to get it right here tonight.
I wonder what on earth happened here to Roy Viveka. He had some contact as he went through. He was trying to get back up to speed. And then the moment he was there, he was stuck at 142. There was the contact, and round everybody went. So for Roy Viveka, I'm not sure what has gone wrong there, but something has very clearly not gone well. A slowdown for Andy Maxwell. Oh, that's going to hurt a lot. He's going to drop way back down the order after that. So Maxwell now dropping back, and all the while, Mr. and that is a big Mr. Daniel Bristow is gaining. He's now on the back of Ralph Cullinan in the fight for 5th place.
And the battle for the podium might still be on here, as he's now alongside Cullinan coming towards turn 1. I have noticed there was, before the incident happened, a lot of front end damage on both Maxwell and Viveka. That was all part and parcel to the collision that happened in 10A and 10B 2 laps ago, and obviously for Viveka it's just gone all downhill from that point onwards.
Yeah, so the damage is very much done for Andy Maxwell. He'll be driving wounded all the way home from this point onwards. Cullinan dispatched by Martin Sampson. By Dan Bristow. Martin Sampson now wants to also join that party. He's on the outside into turn number 6, trying to get this one done, and not going to be able to on the outside, but we'll have the long run to 10A and 10B to get it done. Battle for second, though, could be interesting. They gained 0.8 of a second that last lap on Vincenzo Amico, brought it down to 2 seconds. Now Pete Newman knows Dan Hunt is there. He said he was going for the win. He might just be Nostradamus.
Absolutely. Started P9, now up to P3, and now looking to the back of Pete Newman. The win might not be possible, though. We're about to start lap 7, and already he's about 2.4 seconds off the back of Amico. So if and when he gets around Pete Newman, he's still going to make all that time up to get to the back of Amico.
They've got to work together here, and that's the key, because the gap is 2.1 seconds. Amico slightly quicker that last lap than Pete Newman. Bristow now side by side with Jamie Ayers for 4th place. He's going to get it done down the inside through 1, and Ayers is going to try and come back on the exit. Crisscross as they try and get through. Some crisscross applesauce as they head to turn 3. And is it going to be sorted? Bristow given just enough room to make it happen.
Great battle there between Ayers and Bristow, but Bristow comes off the winner in that little duel right there as they come up towards turn 5. Now Bristow, eyes forward now, try and close that gap to Dan Hunt, but the gap is 5 seconds. It might not have enough, and number 10 might be a bit far-fetched at this point.
Might. There could still be a twist in the tail yet. It's going to be tough to chase down Hunt and Newman, especially at the pace they're running. Vincenzo Amico doing a good enough job at the front, and the gap 4 and a bit seconds here. It's going to take a mighty challenge. Maxwell with the damage, though, is still losing places right now. There goes Mark Lutz through, and Alan Toon will soon follow. Roy Viveka also walking around with a limping and wounded Miata.
Yeah, he's still ahead of Steve Hansford, Mick Barry and Andy Littler, though those guys are a bit of a ways off, as Maxwell and Viveka just all started with that collision between Bristow and Van Gool into 10A and 10B, and it's just, as I mentioned, gone completely south from there.
What a response by Pete Newman. 0.6 of a second get chopped off, but he runs wide through turn 1. Here comes Dan Hunt for the move. He'll look to the inside then at turn number 3. Has he got it sorted here? They cover, a little bit of contact. Hunt goes through.
Great move by Hunt, just capitalising on a small mistake, and that's all it takes there. We already mentioned this at the top of the broadcast here, Jake. The smallest mistake will cost you dearly, and it cost Newman dearly, but he almost got it back there with Hunt running wide out of 5.
Turnabout was so nearly fair play as they went into that battle through turn number 5. Still, though, with 2.5 laps to go, you feel now Pete Newman's got to get aggressive here on this straight, and he'll immediately look to try and make this move, unless he's going for the bump strat. He is bump drafting down this straight then, through 8, 9, and all the way to 10A and 10B. I think he's thinking, well, if we can't catch Amico, I'm just going to play the strategy game and bump you around to try and get second. He's got all 4 tyres in the grass, bless him.
Yeah, he's trying to do his best rallycross impression, I guess, but still able to keep up with Hunt for now. As a bit of a connection issue there for Newman.
And I'll tell you what, it's not a guarantee for 4th place here for Dan Bristow. Jamie Ayres finding a way back through at 10A and 10B, and he's going to try and defend this one all the way through turn 12. Bristow, he's sent into the fence. Bristow finds the wall. Has he been able to keep it on the straight and narrow? He has. They're going to battle so hard alongside. Being forced into the grass there is Ralph Cullinan in his fight with Steve Cooley. And now Cooley up and under. They make contact again. Twice more they touch as they go towards turn 1 and 2. Everybody's got the fireworks.
There they have, and they know it's the end of the season, so they can be as aggressive as they want, especially if you're not in a championship running, but still, it could affect someone's race here. As now Cooley looking to the back of Cullinan once again as they come up through turn 5, right on the back wheel, and Cooley, Cullinan makes a mistake there, and Cooley right through.
I think he was unsettled there by Steve Cooley going through, and that'll be 3 places, because here comes one Mr. Charles Kellyman down the inside, not guaranteed off camber right. Comes up next. Look at this attempt on the outside, looking for drive off the exit. Not gonna happen for Ralph Cullinan. Couldn't quite sort out the move. Here comes Dan Hunt again, though. He's trying to figure out how they go through and battle for it. The scrap for second, still very much far from finished here. They exit turn 9, 10A, 10B. Dan Hunt, the easiest move he'll make all race.
Yeah, and it's going to be a question of how can Newman respond to this. Obviously had the pass done before, and Hunt wants it back, got it back again. Here comes Newman again through the final turn. Going to be a big power move to the inside. Kicks up more grass, as now they're side by side in towards turn 1. Final lap now.
Final lap for Vincenzo Amico, who leads this one. Still too wide here in the battle for second as Dan Hunt looks to try and attack Pete Newman up the hill through 2 and 3. Newman settles into line. They fight 4th, 5th and 6th though. You've got Sampson, you've got Bristow, you've got Ayers, and they're all giving everything here. Sampson's so aggressive with that line, he'll block everything up then, almost as if he's the cork in a very, very nice wine bottle. They're 3 wide almost now as they head to the S's. More contact there for Bristow. He skirts across the grass into the wall. They go, and turning around goes Ayers. Ayers gets turned. Bristow will take 4th at least with that one, as 2 drivers in trouble on the final lap. We expected it. They were fighting so hard for it at the end of that one, but still not over. Pete Newman wants that 3rd place. In 4th now is Bristow. Jones up to 5th. We know he's great at race 4s. Kellyman doing well. Cullinan and Cooley also there together. But here comes Pete Newman searching for that place of 2nd, which could really send a dagger to Dan Hunt, who knows there's not much more that he can do. The move is going to be done before they reach that section of road, but still he'll fight to the outside, trying to get it done. Has he found 2nd place here on the inside? Looks to be so aggressive, but the run is there for Newman. Amico, though, is starting to walk a hand to the trophy. He will take the victory at Road Atlanta Race 4. 2 wins tonight, and Newman, drifting out wide, gives it away to one Mr. Dan Hunt. 2 tyres in the grass down the hill has cost the podium away. Bristow just hold on 4th. What a finish that was.
Yeah, and Bristow was all over the place all race long. dropped as far as, I believe it was P9 at one point, managed to get back to P4, then knocked off the track again for the final turn, and then still came back to P4 after the contact between, well, between him, Ayres, and Samson. So Bristow very lucky to even get close to the podium, not even on it.
No, that's very, very true. But it does end a streak of 9 straight podiums. That 4th place finish, he will still be the highest point scorer tonight, coming out of Road Atlanta, heading to Long Beach, California. But classified results, they will end up as follows. Vincenzo Amico, 16 minutes 4 seconds, wins by 3.8 in the end over the battling duo of Dan Hunt and Pete Newman. Hunt beating out Newman in the end, with Dan Bristow finishing off in 4th place. What a drive, by the way, for Craig Jones. Started dead last in the field and has got a top 5 for his efforts there. That is a drive of the day style run from him, with Charles Kellyman getting 6th and Ralph Cullinan getting 7th. Steve Cooley ends up with 8th. Jamie Ayres back there in 9th, and Mark Lutz rounding out the top 10. Alan Toon gets 11th. Mick Barry in 12th, with Steve Hansford 13th. Andy Maxwell in 14th position. Then it's Andy Littler and Roy Viveka, the last finisher on the lead lap. Martin Sampson will be the first retirement, with Anthony Larson and Peter Van Gool also finding the retirement central here today on this destination train at Michelin Raceway Road at Atlanta. But we are going to get a chance to get a chat with a driver here or there. We're going to bring Craig Jones into the conversation. Craig, starting at the back of the field here for that final race, was 5th place ever, in your mind, the target that you were expecting to get?
No, I was expecting 1st.
Ah.
I wish. No, it was a fantastic race. I got lucky, and I'm sure you caught on the stream. There's quite a lot of incidences and bits and pieces like that. But yeah, a lot of it was, to be fair, a lot of it was hard work for myself as well. So yeah, really pleased with that result. Good race.
How important is it coming through the field to keep alert on the battles that go on with those drivers in front, knowing that there could be an incident, and there were in that final race? Just what sort of process does you as a driver go through to try and avoid those sorts of incidents before they even happen?
I think a lot of it comes down to experience. So I've been racing with a lot of these guys for probably close to 5 years now, 4 years, something like that. So you get to learn to know who to race, and you can kind of sort of see ahead when something's not happening. And, we've got Discord as well, so my teammates are really good at shouting when there's an incident ahead to look out for. But yeah, it's essentially, as soon as you see something kicking off, it's much better to slow down rather than speed up, which sadly some of the drivers don't always understand. But it's natural instinct to want to try and gain positions and go faster.
And in terms of how you look at the next round, the final round of the season, Long Beach a week from today, how are you feeling about that? A track which, by all intents and purposes, is probably going to be the toughest one this season.
Yeah, I've had 0 experience at that track, so it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, personally, I think my season was finished a few weeks ago. I've had some rotten luck, so for me, it's just about turning up and enjoying the racing, and we'll see what happens.
Floor is yours then, Craig. Shout out sponsors. Who do you want to thank?
Just the usual, you guys, for doing a fantastic stream as always, and my teammates that make it that little bit extra more fun, especially with when we got Mick messing up the start of the race when we're waiting on a teammate and stuff like that. So yeah, I'd like to thank my teammates.
No worries at all. Craig Jones, 5th place from 19th on the grid there in that final race. Sam, our focus now will turn away from Road Atlanta. It will go cross country, cross some very, very big states, over to California, a stone's throw away from Los Angeles. It's Long Beach, the final round. How important is it going to be to stay out of trouble at one of the most beautiful street circuits ever devised?
It's going to be absolutely imperative. I mean, the corners around there are very, very good, but also very vicious. The one moment you get it all wrong is the moment you're going to end up in the wall and out of the race. that hairpin at the end of the lap also going to be very crucial, very tight. You're going to need to get your turning angles very, very correct. But with these MX-5s, they don't really turn that very well when it comes to hairpins like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what sort of passes we're going to see through there, and how many people are going to make mistakes. We've seen quite a lot of people make mistakes here tonight, so that might carry over into next week.
It might do. Amico has 83 points. The buffer. Keep an eye on that potentially for the final round that comes on in. Everything stands on one more race, and in fact that gap could be just a little bit more after that victory. Keep that in mind. Our final stop in terms of this amazing series is Long Beach. It's the place to be. It's the chances that you need with the UK Sim Racing MX-5 Pro Series. Thank you so much for joining us, but one more week remains. Will it be Ronin Sim Sports Vincenzo Amico, the former Pro Series driver, Dan Hunt, Pete Newman? They tried everything today. Dan Bristow's streak ends at 9 straight podiums. It's a great streak to get himself back in the title picture, but was it too little, too late? Chances are always here and will always turn up. Now's the time to get your focus on Long Beach, USA. We will see you 1 week from now.